Since Dustin Poirier was announced to fight Islam Makhachev, very few people have expressed belief in Dustin's ability to win. Most believe that this fight will look extremely similar to the fight Dustin had with Khabib, and while that is possible, I believe this fight could look different as well. For starters, while Islam does have some of the best grappling in the world, it is not like Khabib's. Khabib is by far the most dominant wrestler the sport has ever seen. He's the one who made every Dagestani fighter seem invincible. Although Dustin did find some success on the feet in that fight, I don't think Khabib was ever seriously in danger, even when Dustin was going for that guillotine. If Dustin wants to win this fight, there's a lot of things he has to do different, but his priority should be to stop that takedown. Although he lost to Islam, Volkanovski drew up the blueprint for how to beat these Russian wrestlers, with the key being to stand your ground. A large majority of the takedowns landed by these guys aren't in the middle of the ring. They come when they have you pushed up against the fence. Not only does having your opponent pushed up against the fence trap them, it also makes it much easier to chain wrestle. You can transition from double legs to single legs to trips so much more efficiently when in that position, and that's what these guys are so good at. Even if they don't get you down on the first attempt, they don't let go of the hold they have on you. They simply adjust it based on the way you shift your body weight. Everyone is so afraid of the takedown from Khabib or Islam that they move backwards instinctively, which is exactly what they want you to do. Anytime you see a Dagestani shoot for a takedown in the middle of the mat, they are much less likely to get it. One of the ways to keep this in the center of the octagon is to utilize leg and low body kicks. One of the few weaknesses of this style that you can exploit is the reliance on forward pressure. Islam will try to back you up regardless of what you do. So if you can hit him with a leg kick as he puts his weight on his front leg while moving forward, then the damage you can deal with a singular kick is much more than you would deal with 5 of them while he's moving backwards. You can almost think of it like a counter-strike. If a fighter is moving forward and gets hit, the damage they absorb is much greater because of the momentum generated by moving forward. This momentum is a result of their forward shift in weight, just like the leg kick I am talking about. Not only does throwing this leg kick cause damage and make it harder for Islam to land takedowns, it gives Dustin time to move away from the cage. Although Islam's striking is extremely impressive, it's obvious that he will avoid risk and follow the game plan Khabib used. He's already come out and said this in an interview. Another thing Dustin has to avoid doing is attempting the guillotine. In MMA, the lowest percentage submission is the guillotine. It's the most attempted as well as the most failed submission. Although you can sometimes use it to get back up to your feet or turn it into a dominant position that you can maintain, that is not what Dustin uses it for. In his fight with Benoit Saint-Denis, he must have attempted it 10 times then ended up getting punched while on his back after every single attempt. If you've attempted the submission 1,000 times in your career and have failed every single time, going for it against the best grappler in the division is a terrible idea. If you guys think back to his fight with Khabib, after that guillotine attempt by Dustin, within 30 seconds of him letting go of the guillotine, the fight was over. Going for that submission put him in a compromised position. After escaping it, Khabib immediately was able to gain double wrist control and work himself to Dustin's back, where he found the finish shortly after. It wasn't just this bad position that led to his loss, but also the energy he expended while trying to finish the guillotine. If you've never pushed to finish a guillotine before and failed, the feeling is excruciating. It feels like you just ripped 30 sets of bicep curls. Dustin held onto that guillotine for a long time while also putting a lot of his energy into it. To be completely gassed with Khabib or Islam on your back is the worst possible place Dustin can find himself in. But I will not be surprised when I'm sat back on the couch watching him go for a guillotine. Aside from the leg kicks that I was talking about earlier, another thing that Dustin has to do to win this fight is to adjust his striking style. This is obviously much easier said than done, but if he decides to use his close-range boxing style against Islam, his odds of winning this fight significantly decrease. I'm not suggesting that he should change his entire style, but I think he should try to extend the range from which he begins his sequences. Dustin often gets his hips extremely close to his opponents when connecting with his shots, and although that does generate him a lot of power, it also makes him extremely susceptible to the double leg. Even though I said the wrestling style of Islam and Khabib is the most effective when they have their opponent pushed up against the fence, they are also obviously incredible open mat wrestlers as well, and if Dustin throws a shot with his hips too close, Islam will 100% secure the takedown. Once Islam does get the fight to the floor, it's very unlikely Dustin will be able to find his way back to his feet in that round, so preventing the takedown should be his biggest priority. Now the main reason I think Dustin will win this fight is because of Paulo Costa. All 8 champions that have ever shared a card with Paulo Costa lost their belt on that night, and with Paulo being the co-main event, Islam is doomed. In all seriousness though, I don't think Dustin will make it to the scorecards. I think he'll get finished within 25 minutes and hang up his gloves. So to answer the question, I don't think he can win at all. He's too dumb and old to follow a tailored game plan, and in my opinion, he shouldn't even be fighting for the belt in the first place. If you like this content, leave a like and subscribe. Thank you for watching.